Hello, Playdate. This is Don.
This is Nick.
And I'm Ryan. This week we are covering Playdate news,
Recent indie releases, and booping into another week without Ryan.
Thank God. Well, thank you for listening. Let's get started. I'm just kidding. We miss Ryan.
We do.
He's under the weather today. And
Yes.
so we're stepping in and doing a poor job of imitating him.
Stepping up.
Yeah, we're trying to step up. We will never reach his heights, though.
That is true.
Speaking of which, you are getting an injection of Ryan, though, later. I'm not going to put it in the middle of the podcast.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to tick Ryan off and put it at the end. Ryan likes to add music to the end of the podcast when he edits. Instead, I'm going to stick his voice at the end of this podcast. He left like a 45-minute dissertation on our shirts. The shirts that he already spoke about for 45 minutes that were water, ink blasted or something.
Mm-hmm.
There was an issue with them, and they're now plastic coated with a plastic shell, a hard plastic shell, impenetrable hard plastic shell t-shirts.
Plastisol based inks instead of the other method that he was talking about. So he posted some photos in the Discord, and you'll hear more all about it, I guess, later on.
Yes, the end of the show. So the shirts are here. They do look really nice and whatnot. They're just a little bit different than he was excited to share earlier. But anyway, stick around at the end of the show for more news from Ryan about the shirts. But moving on to more news right now, Nick, how about you and I take turns on the news headlines here? I think most of them are new to you, but what do you say? You want to wing it?
Sure.
You want to freeball it on these things? I'll go first if you want.
Okay, that sounds good.
And you can pretend to be up to date on the second one and pay attention while I'm reading the first one. Sound good?
Excellent.
I see you nodding. All right. So I wanted to thank Fev from our Discord. They went to the Panic garage sale last weekend, I think. Panic had a garage sale. They moved offices, and I think they're still sort of in the process of moving offices. But Fev went to the garage sale and took pictures and made like a little article, blog post about it. And there's actually a lot of cool stuff in this blog post. So one of the things, I'm getting an ad. One of the things that they picked up was sort of like a prototype Playdate.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought it was just going to be like a parts unit because it was just $20, but it had like early software on it. You might have better terminology for how I'm describing this, but it was like a QA model or a test model. And he put images, or I'm assuming it's a he. They put images of all these different tests that you can run and languages and I don't know, lots of cool screens that we've never seen. And even the back of the case looks different. So check that out. And then also posted just different things that they saw at the garage sale and swag and whatnot. So definitely stop and check this out. It's really cool. Lots of cool pictures. So thank you for sharing that with everybody, Fev.
The QA app is really interesting and it looks really cool. So very clear and as I would expect from Panic. Are you ready for the next item? Howdy, Playdate fans and developers. I'm currently working on a rhythm game for PD called Otto's Galactic Groove with the brilliant EB Paw Prints. Check out the announcement trailer from earlier this year for flavor, the style, and gameplay, and that there will be a link in the show notes for that announcement trailer. We're looking for music from other Playdate games to include in our jukebox mode. If you're interested, please submit a track in this Google form, and the link to the Google form will be in our show notes. So please send that in and add it to Otto's Galactic Groove, potentially.
Yeah, that was from Rupert Cole. They posted on the squad Discord. So the game looks pretty fun. It has sort of a Get-Through Man style rhythm gaming thing. You can watch the trailer on YouTube to get a feel for it. But that's really cool that they're asking for submissions from other Playdate games because there is a ton of great Playdate music out there. So it could be a really cool soundtrack.
And reminds me, as far as community involvement of now that's what I call pulp.
Yeah. I was trying to remember the name of the app. I'm glad you remembered. Yeah. I think it had a ton of tracks.
Absolutely. So hopefully there will be similar developer support and composer support for Auto's Galactic Groove.
I'm putting that in the show notes real quick so I can put it in the show notes later tonight so you can see it while you're listening to the podcast.
Magic. All right.
Magic.
Don, speaking of magic, what's next?
All right. Next up, Realistic Fishing, the game of the year at the Playdate Community Awards, had its anniversary update 1.3. It's a year old. It launched on August 7th of last year. I know, it seems like it just came out. But it has a whole bunch of patch notes. This was a game from Totally Under Control and added new tackle, new fish, lowered the price of 2 of the later game items to make them easier to get, and fixed a lot of bugs, added some clarity with different signage and whatnot and instructions in the game. So, and spruce up some of the visuals and whatnot. So nice low quality of life changes. On top of all that, it's on sale right now. So if you're listening to this soon, it's $6 on itch, and if I recall correctly, it is on sale on catalog as well. I think I saw that today. So if you have not played it, hop on it. It's a really fun game, and you don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
So
congratulations, Toad, on the update, and such a great game. Now even better. So, Don, there's an autumn edition of the Playdate Community Direct. It's coming October 24th. And there will be a link in our show notes to a form to submit your game. The deadline to submit a trailer is September the 14th, so just about a month away at 3 a.m. Pacific time. So get your trailers ready. Get your trailers in order. Get them submitted. And by September the 14th for potential inclusion in the Playdate Community Direct, which is coming October 24th.
Gives you 1 month from today when you're listening to this, hopefully.
Yes. So that is exciting. I'm always very impressed with those community directs, and there's always a lot of cool stuff coming. So, Don, speaking of cool stuff, let's talk about indie inventory.
This is like a new record. We're doing a speed run. It's been like 3 minutes or so. I don't know. Yeah, let's do it.
Don, I want you to rate and review every application. Is that something that you can do for me?
I need to do that. Yeah, I rated a couple a few weeks ago, but I'm getting behind.
We all are. So this is your bi-weekly reminder.
Thank you.
Rating and reviewing helps developers to understand what you like, what you don't like, and helps those apps to be seen. So the more you're able to do that, that's a nice thing that you can do for any game that you enjoy, especially. Brightens their day.
It's funny that you're saying all of this, Nick, because this first game, when you were at the helm, you forgot to mention it. And then when I came back, I forgot to mention it. And then when I left again, you forgot to mention it. So it's been out for several weeks, but we forgot to mention it. We're both the worst. But on top of that, so today I was like, oh yeah, I got to get this in there. So I went to search it in the new releases. It was not there in itch. I couldn't find it anywhere. I was like, oh, what's up with this? And then I searched the name on itch, could not find it. And I was like, what is the deal? So I thought, did it get delisted? So I looked in the Fun in the Sun bundle that just ended yesterday, because there was one of the games in there, and there was still a link there. So the game is still on itch. But you're right. We got to rate these things because it is just,
it'll
vaporware.
Really help with discoverability. No, I'm saying having them rated will help with
it will help. Yeah.
Or it should, I assume.
We don't help with, as in itch doesn't help with.
No, it's challenging to find apps on itch, especially once they've aged off of the front page. So this is our fault, and I'm so sorry we're getting to this so late, but this is Poker Magic. And it is $6, and it's coming to catalog. This was part of the Fun in the Sun bundle, which Don mentioned, and it was developed by
Rapcal or Raphael or Dake in the Discord. But
Yes.
yeah, it's coming to Playdate, and we actually just reviewed one of their games a few weeks ago with the what is it, Montgolfier
Montgolfier.
brothers,
Yeah.
Montgolfier, Test Flight. So
Uh,
this is the game that spurred me to go see my eye doctor because the pixels are so small. But they actually added a quality of life update with larger text. So very fun Puyo Puyo like.
I really like the character sprites
Mhm.
for this, especially the larger character portraits. Beautiful looking game, and that's Poker Magic, and it is $6 on itch and coming to catalog soon.
I could see Dr. Layton or Professor Layton adding this when he's not having a guinea pig organize his luggage. He could play a little poker magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So, leaving Poker Magic behind for the moment, you know my love of demons and escaping from demons. I wanted to alert you to the presence of Escape from the Demon Maze. This is a game that's still in development, and usually we don't feature those, but this happened to tickle all of my neuroreceptors.
It looks
I want.
badass.
It looks great. So it's currently Name Your Own Price, and it is by Kakalumba.
It sounds badass.
So what is it
I don't know what
exactly,
that dub
Don?
means. I don't know. You're escaping a maze. Yeah, it looks like adventure. If adventure had better graphics, I guess.
And
There's
swordplay.
keys and bats and top-down view. There's primitive-looking switches. I don't know. It looks cool.
I really like the graphical implementation of things like bricks. I think it's very distinct. And this game was made in pulp, but it doesn't have quite that pulpy look to it. So I'm always very interested in ways that developers are able to kind of push the boundaries of pulp. So this is their first game, and it looks really cool. So I can't wait to play it. And that again is Escape from the Demon Maze. So, Don, having made it back to the sunlight, let's go to Death Map.
What's up this week? Is everybody doing okay?
Well, I'm not sure, but Death Map is made by Albi Emakir, and this was a game a week event game, and the theme was community. So the basic idea is that
What is this community? The Death Map community?
the Death Map community.
How did this come to mind?
You'll hear all about it here shortly. You're playing this game, and when you die, you can edit the map to help other people in the community, and then pass the game to another player. So this is like a play and pass game where everybody is contributing to a shared map. But as it says, can you trust the map of the previous players? So it allows the player that you're playing against or with to misdirect, which I think is a really neat little twist on what's a fairly straightforward concept of hidden map and shared shared experience. So this is Death Map. It is again by Albi Amakir, and it is free at the moment.
This is a very cute map, but I couldn't help but think when you said community additions to the map, can you put like try fingers butthole messages everywhere?
Not sure.
Like Elder thing? No? Okay.
Um,
That's the type of community involvement I want.
I see. Well done. I don't know how you feel about top-down scrolling shooters, vertical scrolling shooters. But
Slightly less ominous.
this one is called Void Blazers,
Yep.
and it is by
Blaze that
TKers. Yeah, it's currently $6 on itch, and I have a deep and abiding love of vertical scrolling shooters. I played a lot of them on the PC. It was a way to mask inefficiencies in drawing backgrounds and so forth long ago, and so there were a lot of them in kind of the shareware era. So I spent a lot of time on these kind of games, and one of my favorite Virtual Boy games is called Vertical Force, and this has some things that remind me of that as well. So, Don, how interested are you in vertical scrolling shooters and Void Blazers in particular?
I'm really impressed by like the legibility. A lot of the
Yes.
Playdate shooters look really good, but they're very dense.
Mhm.
This one, there's a lot of open space,
Yes.
so it's very legible. I know we use that word a lot, but that's important on such a small screen.
It's very important to me.
Yeah, I have not tried it yet because I think it is coming to catalog soon, and I'm becoming a catalog snob because I like those instant updates.
Yeah.
So I will be picking it up over there. But yeah, it does look fantastic. And I did watch. I think Destination Playdate did a video of it this week, so I watched that, and it looked like a lot of fun there.
So I'm selling this a bit short. It's got a full original soundtrack. There's an in-game shop where you can purchase upgrades and so forth, and there's dialogue. So there's actually a story and plot. It's more than just shooting stuff. But it looks great, and I'm excited to play. I believe I also will be waiting for the catalog release, though, because I'm also a bit of a catalog snob now. Sorry. But this looks amazing, and I'm very excited to play it.
Free waffle maker in one of these gifts here. I like that. Let's see what that's all about. Yeah, it looks very cool. Oh, it says I own it. You own this Playdate game purchased 1 year ago. I guess I bought a pre-order.
You pre-ordeed it.
Yeah,
okay.
Wow. I'm going to download it right now. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Screw catalog, man. I guess I
forget everything we said previously.
Yeah.
So again, that's Void Blazers, and it's $6. All right, Don. I was curious, if you could be any robotic appendage, would you choose a robotic arm?
I was going to say neck, but arm is probably second place.
All right. Well, how about a game that's entirely based upon moving a double-sided robotic arm? So there's two different claws that allow you to move between different platforms.
So it looks like cat dog.
Yes, but in robot form.
Wow. Okay.
I am thrilled at the graphics in this. I think it looks so fun and clever. So I'm looking forward to playing it. It is by Omoikane, and it is currently free.
Free, yeah.
And this game's name is Magero. So Magero, free on itch, and you are a robotic arm platforming.
Yeah, it looks very cool. It looks like IG-88's hands.
Very specific reference.
Oh, Star Wars nerds will get it.
Okay. Well, okay, we've seen robots, we've seen space shooting, we've seen demon mazes, but it's time for Chincana. This is by Rafael Arrivabene, and I apologize in advance for all the mispronunciations. This is a name-your-own-price game, and it is a puzzle or maze style of game that was made in pulp, and it was inspired by Incan myths.
Very cool.
Yeah, as a descendant of the sun, you're tasked with entering the Chincana and retrieving 3 artifacts for the Inca people. Use gems to unlock mechanisms, and use mechanisms to open paths. Collect pattern pieces to weave the right tokapu at the right place, and visit Viracocha's statue before you leave. Again, apologies for the pronunciation. That is Chincana, and it is currently name your own price on itch.
Yeah, very cool. I love the logo, love the art. What is this called? This type of, is it 3/4 top down or something?
The
This
perspective?
viewpoint? Yeah, the perspective.
Yeah, it's Ultima perspective.
It's not quite Zaxxon, so I don't know what this is.
It's not quite isometric, but yeah, it's like top down almost with a little twist.
Looks cool. Yeah, I'll
Yes.
be
All
checking
right.
this one out.
So Don, I think a catalog drop happened between this morning and now because
It
I
did.
noticed there are some new games on this list. So tell me all about them. What do we got?
Yeah, when I pulled up the list, I was like, another word game? Like, I love word games, but I feel like my brain is not strong enough to handle all of these word games. The first up was Word Rocket
Okay.
by Metzger Media. You are part of the Interplanetary Defense Agency, and it's your job to protect the planet by placing letter tiles using proprietary software built by a penguin, of course. And
Nice.
so you're like moving letters back and forth and making words. It's like Tetris with letters that's sideways, and you make words. Yeah, it looks cool. I don't know. I need to take it one word game at a time, so I have not tried this one yet.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I'm watching the GIFs here and I'm not certain how the words are made and then parts of words are left.
Yeah, because I see likes is just sitting there, and that's a word, and tusk is as well, and puny is as well.
Well, you may have to fire a letter into it.
Make it like punier or something.
Maybe. I don't know. No, this this seems to be circumventing expectation.
I don't know.
But this looks cool. And it is $5 on catalog. That's by Metzger Media, and it's called Word Rocket.
Yeah. Next up is The Game of Goose by Jonathan Hudson. This is $3. And are you familiar with The Game of Goose?
I am not. I'm looking at these GIFs here.
1574. It's a classic.
Oh, okay.
Classic game. I also am not familiar with it, but this has pass and play multiplayer for up to 8 people. One player can use their imagination and take on the part of multiple players, but it's a dice game and it has realistic dice sound effects. The graphics look really charming. They've got sort of an old, is this Victorian or I don't know what the
pre-Victorian, right?
Pre-Victorian. I don't know what the art style is.
It is very impressive because it's very dense. There's a lot of line work, but it's still legible. It's still understandable what's happening in the GIFs. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how this plays. I've been playing a lot of Clubhouse games. So yeah, the Hare and the Hound. This gives those same kind of vibes.
They're probably on the shelf right next to this back in the 1600s.
All right, you want to play Goose tonight or
Hare and Hound? Hare and Hound, Dad.
All right. Okay, so that's Game of the Goose. It's by Donovan Hudson, and it is $3.
Yes. Next up is Dolphin Splash. We mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when it came out on itch, but we were waiting for the catalog release, and here it is. This is by Spellbar, and it's got we call it the Echo the Dolphin game, and it does look like Echo the Dolphin. You can create custom. Oh.
I think we talked about this last episode, the catalog release, as well as the next game on here.
No. This came out today.
Really?
Okay. I promise.
All right. Okay. Never mind. Continue.
I bought this today. It came out today it came out on itch, so maybe that's where we got in deep. I won't get in too deep because you'll be hearing more about it in the future, but I played it today for the first time.
Okay.
And it is going to take a while to get used to the controls because it's crank only.
Ooh.
Yes.
A bold choice.
Yeah, it's
I feel
just like the original Echo.
I feel like that would be more intuitive than Echo, though. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So have some fun with that, and you'll hear more about it soon. Again, that was Nick, this is your job.
Dolphin Splash by Spellbar. It's $4 on catalog. Don, what's this last one here?
This last one we have never mentioned on the podcast that I know of, Nick.
That is true.
Okay. Superconductor. Are you thinking of a super beta tester?
I don't know what I was thinking of, Don.
Okay,
I apologize.
that's right. This is by Steve Ingapo, and this is Superconductor. It's $5 right now. It's usually $6, but it's on sale for the week. And this is inspired by Donald Duck's Playground from the Commodore 64, a game I loved as a child.
Oh, that's why you mentioned it earlier in the
Yeah.
Discord. I was like, where'd that come from?
Basically, there's like a toy train going around, and you have to collect coins by turning the different switches at different intersections to get it to go, I don't know, to change tracks so that it goes the correct way.
Mhm.
And it's very frantic. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this action puzzle game to get the train on the right tracks. If I remember right, Donald Duck's Playground was like white and purple graphics and green, I think. Do you remember those awful Commodore 64 garish colors?
Commodore 64 CGA stuff.
Yes. Yeah. This one is much more stylish, black and white. Very clean, but it looks like a lot of fun. Very cute characters and animations and whatnot. And there's a leaderboard. Fastest time to 100 coins.
All right. There's only 3 entries on there right now.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So, Ryan, if you're listening,
I have a feeling Steve Popo and Steve Ingapo might be the same person. I'm not sure, but the top name is very sus. All right. We're done.
Congratulations. We made it. Don, did we mention the games that are on sale this week on catalog?
We did not. Right
well,
now. Oh, go ahead.
We're doing so now. First up is Superconductor, which we just talked about. It's $5, normally $6. Next up is Baito Fight, Part-Time Devil Hunter, $6, normally $7. Deep Space Dapper Squad, $6, normally $8. Snecris, $2, normally $4. Under the Tree, $7, normally $12. Simple Mind, $2, normally $3. A Ghost in the Gallery, $2, normally $3. Realistic Fishing, $6, normally $8. And then Art and More, $4, normally $5. So those are all the games which are on sale on catalog this week. Check them out.
Lots of good stuff. Should we get to our featured game?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Our game of the week, our pick of the week was a game that I chose. It's been out for a while, but I picked it up on catalog. This is a game called Halfway to Dawn, which has a very cool logo, bringing up like 80s. I don't know, what is this? Not really trashy 80s movies. 80s action movies, 80s sci-fi action. Thinking They Live and Terminator 2 and whatnot. Anyway, the logo is awesome, so that's what immediately drew my attention. This was right up my alley. It's $5 right now on catalog. It's made by Cyberleaf Studio, which I think is one person. When I rolled credits on it, that's all I saw was Andrea Baroni doing game design, programming, graphics, and audio, which is incredible. Yeah, very impressive because all those things are pretty good. The idea is it's a hybrid shooter and narrative game, and you're trying to survive the night in a dystopian world where only a few humans remain after a mysterious monster invasion. So during the day, it's like a narrative mode where you're scavenging for supplies, and then at night it turns into Oregon Trail hunting where you're swinging around shooting monsters. And just trying to survive hour after hour and not die until dawn. You're trying to make it to dawn. So, Nick, what did you think of Pathway to Dawn?
Well, I really was hooked by the ambiance when I first fired it up. I'm a big fan of games with kind of that text adventure type of element. And of course, you're presented with that right away once you start a brief story sequence, and then you're tasked with either visiting a place or resting for an hour. And when you visit a place, something happens. So this is like Oregon Trail. We're just going to keep comparing this game to Oregon Trail.
I mean, it's
over
close.
And over again. When you're traveling and all of a sudden the wagon breaks a wheel or somebody contracts dysentery or whatever. there will be some action that requires you to perform some other action. And that's essentially what happens. There's a selection of 4 different choices for visiting a place. You can break into a mall, you can break into a pharmacy, you can break into a gun store, or you can break into a house.
You're
And
not breaking in, you're visiting.
Oh, okay.
You're bringing some snacks to share.
Okay. All right. You were in a much less dystopian world than I was. Mhm.
Oh.
You were in a very friendly area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time, thinking and strategizing where I wanted to go. Each of those has different potential benefits, I found. There's some overlap, like you can procure first aid kits from a house, or you could procure them from the mall. But maybe you're more likely to procure them from the pharmacy. I couldn't quite figure out exactly how that worked, aside from the gun store, where you're much more likely to find bullets and guns. So the first half of the game is really prep, and then the second half is, rather than the hunting from Oregon Trail, it turns into a tower defense game. So you're positioned down at the bottom of the screen. You can set traps optionally, and then you have to slay these monsters, which are coming, and they come in waves. Each wave lasts for an hour, and between waves you can eat a first aid kit or use one, and then
Just
change
one.
your loadout right before the next hour. So I found the strategy portion of this to be really compelling, requiring multiple playthroughs to really try to figure out an optimal loadout for each wave. And learning the different enemy types and when they appeared, I found was really, really helpful for progressing further in the waves. So kind of a little bit of pattern memorization there as well. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the game. I played through it first on easy mode and kind of sailed through it after a couple tries, and I really liked what I played, and so I popped it onto hard mode, and the difficulty spike was intense. I was not quite expecting that big of a difficulty spike, but I found it very enjoyable at the upgraded difficulty. I was not able to succeed on hard mode the number of times that I played, and I'm curious on if you were able to.
No, the furthest I got on hard was 4 a.m.
Oh, okay.
I think that a lot of it depends on sort of the random elements, on how good your supply scavenging is, how lucky you are in that first halfway section. Because the one run where I had a really, really good run. Like I think I had 36 shotgun bullets.
Whoa.
Which is a ton. Yeah, it's a ton. And then I had like 6 pistol bullets. I think I had 4 or 5 first aid kits.
Wow.
But you'll remember I said in the Discord that I forgot to change weapons, or I forgot to set it to weapon swap. I said it's a reload because you can only do one or the other between the hours, the hour menu. And that's so crazy. When I loaded back in, I had like 1 bullet, I think, and I had a whole hour to try and survive. And it just wasn't going to happen. And it's very rare to have that many bullets. A lot of times you'll have like 18 bullets maybe, or a dozen of each type or something like that.
Yes, your likelihood of scavenging bullets in hard mode goes down considerably.
Yeah.
As you'd probably expect. And the instance of some surprise action taking place during that scavenging mode is much higher too. For example, I was chased by wolves very frequently in hard mode compared to easy mode. But it was rewarding to get just a little bit further in the hard mode and see more of it. One other thing that we didn't mention is that your player has the ability to use a knife. So it's kind of like, I don't know if you played the DS version of Resident Evil 1?
No.
Okay. There's a game called Resident Evil Deadly Silence, DS, and you could swipe the screen if a zombie got too close, and it would use your knife. And it
Oh,
was
cool.
a little more convenient than the console games. Anyway, this game has kind of a
real quick. I was thinking of
Yeah.
Operation Wolf. Wasn't it kind of the same thing?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Go
this
ahead.
game has kind of a similar mechanic in that you swing the crank to swing your knife. And so you're not totally defenseless when you run out of ammunition, but you're pretty close to defenseless. So if you are encountering monsters which can hurl projectiles at you from across the screen, it's unlikely you're going to survive that encounter if you don't have anything with which to defend yourself. The knife will not cut the projectile.
Yeah. The knife, that was one thing I kind of had a hard time with, is that sometimes like the rats would get close to you and you wouldn't see them. And I would keep taking damage and didn't really understand why. Because I would be swinging my knife and I guess I wouldn't notice that they were on top of me. And so I should have kept swinging it more and more and more. That was a little annoying. That happened several times where the clarity of the screen just wasn't quite there. You have like these two lumps next to your body, I guess, next to wherever your gun or your knife is. I don't really know why they're there. They just kind of block your view a little bit.
The door.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
See, I took it as like, I've been playing Oregon Trail somewhat recently, and the graphics are similar to this, but it's just like tumbleweeds and stuff out there.
Right.
I took this as like you're in the desert, not you're by the back door, but that makes more sense.
Yeah, the scavenging mode, you're always returning to your house. That's why I assumed that.
Okay. I took it as like you're trying to make it across the blockade in one of them. I think that's where you're fighting the wolves. And so I was like, okay, I made it to the blockade, and now I'm in the treehouse, or now I'm in the mall, or wherever I scavenge, that's where I am. But you're right, the cutscene is always that like same table bunker type thing. That does make sense. Oh, that was one small knock as well, is there aren't that many scenarios between the hours heading up to midnight. And so once you already know, like, okay, if I choose this, I'm going to see a wolf, I'll just choose the other thing.
Well, there's a random chance that you'll see a wolf. Sometimes you escape without harm, and you just make it to the destination. You can sneak past them sometimes, in other words.
In my experience, whenever I chose the other option, I just wouldn't be. I guess I was just avoiding the area, huh? I just skipped it. Like there's always the choose your own adventure mode, but if I chose the safe option that I knew
you chose not to have an adventure
option, then I was fine. So
I gotcha.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, worth experimenting with, because sometimes you really luck out, and that makes a big difference. Other times you just get chewed on by wolves and lose a whole bunch of health.
Yeah, that's why you can rest between hours. We didn't really mention that. You can burn an hour and rest, but you get some health back.
Yeah.
Did you ever die? Sorry. Oh, did you die before midnight ever? I didn't
before
try
midnight?
That.
No. I haven't.
Yeah, I didn't try that either.
That would be interesting.
I assume you can. I got down to 2 health. Yeah. Before midnight.
So.
And somebody mentioned on Discord. I think it was Fev. Has anybody unchecked the knife? Because in the options you can turn off the knife, which I guess is just turning off the crank. I never did try that. I meant to, and I just forgot about it.
Yeah,
You didn't try it?
I saw that note in the Discord and promptly forgot it. So no, I haven't tried it. Does it set it to a button or something?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering. Or maybe you just don't have one.
Not very well informed. I'm sorry.
We didn't try it. Oh well. It's a surprise for the listeners.
Yeah. Give it a shot and let us know. So, Don, what did you think of the music? We've talked about the graphics. We've talked about kind of the gameplay moment to moment. But what did you think of the music and sound effects?
Yeah, the music and sound effects were good. They were never annoying, and I felt like they were added to the atmosphere of the game. it had sort of that 80s thriller vibe, I guess. What is this? This isn't
Synthwave.
sci-fi. Yeah, synthwave. What is
Yeah.
this genre of thing that I like? The Thing and They Live and John Carpenter 80s
Just
stuff.
John Carpenter is
Assault
really.
on Precinct 13. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
John Carpenter would like this game.
Are we saying that?
Yeah,
Without-
he's a gamer. He would like this.
Okay. All right. Well, I like this game, and I also enjoyed the music and sound effects. I didn't think they were very obtrusive. It can get pretty intense in later waves when you've got your enemies and you're really juggling a lot of stuff, but the soundtrack and the sounds stay out of your way when that's happening. I mean, they don't become distracting, is what I'm trying to say. So I am very appreciative of that, because it would be very easy to focus on, things like that. But everything just kind of makes a little squishing noise when you shoot it, which is, kind of gross, but it gets the point across. So,
that's worth mentioning as well, is that I felt like the enemy waves were really fair. They're very well balanced. I never felt like, oh, there's something that's going to rush up and kill me and I have no chance of getting to it.
Yeah.
It is slower to move your shotgun side to side. And so you kind of have to be more aware when you're using the shotgun. But I never felt that I blamed the game for me losing health or this or that. It was very well balanced.
Yeah. I never had a problem with that. Anytime that I failed, it was really my fault. So, I appreciated that quite a lot. And a lot of my failures, I mean, you mentioned not having the right choice mapped in the little interstitial scene. That was really where I tended to fail too. Is in the later waves, I wouldn't have used first aid kit, which you can do one time within a wave mapped. And instead I would have switch weapon, but I'd have no bullets left on one of the weapons and things like that. So it was very impressive to me that it felt like it was very well designed in that regard. I'm echoing exactly what you're saying.
It's a nice, I mean, it's not a super deep or long game or anything, but it's a nice bite-sized adventure for the Playdate. And there's not a whole lot of games in this vein on the Playdate, so I feel like it's a nice experience that you're not going to find elsewhere.
Correct. All right. Well, does that do it? Do we have any feedback?
We didn't have a whole lot of chatting. Honestly, I just personally haven't felt too engaged with social media lately, and so I wasn't really driving conversation over there. I apologize, but Dino mentioned he died in his first attempt by being rubbish at the game, and Gamma Goat mentioned that he played it when it first came out. It was hard, but he eventually survived, and then Feb survived his first night on easy mode. Nice. And then agreed that hard mode was very unforgiving. But we've been over all that. So I do recommend it. John Carpenter approved. Check out Halfway to Dawn.
Halfway to Dawn. It's by Cyberleaf Studio. It's currently $5 on catalog. And Don, what's coming next episode?
Next episode is Ryan's choice. He will be returning, and he chose Dolphin Splash by Spellbar. $4 on catalog, and I did not look up the itch link, but it is also on itch. So
very good.
Give it a shot.
Sounds good. And let's talk about where people can find us.
Yeah. Hop in the show notes for all of these links. You can always find us playdatepodcast.com. In our Discord, please start the conversation over there. I mean, we're posting there, and other people are. We appreciate the engagement over there. Instagram, Ryan is on Twitter, Hello PD Podcast, and popping up on Threads now and then, Hello Playdate. So thank you so much. Check out the socials. Check out the bingo tip line if you want to leave a voicemail, as you will hear in just a moment from Ryan regarding the t-shirts. So stay tuned. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Don.
Night.
Hello, bitty boo boo boo. This is Ryan. Hey guys, Nick and Dawn. I super appreciate you covered for me again as I am, just sitting around not doing anything. But actually, the truth of the matter is, shirts arrived, so I'm very excited about that. But the reason I'm calling the Nick Baldridge bingo tip line today is in hopes that you will edit this in to let folks know who ordered the t-shirt that there was a little bit of a change. It was not quite what I was expecting. I know I was kind of the hype man for water-based inks versus plastisol inks. We had a little print discussion on a few episodes back. I know it was riveting for everybody, but I'm calling in to say that while the shirts arrived, they are not printed using water-based inks. And the reason for that is evidently, water-based inks are a little less stable and predictable than my printer originally believed. Long story short, he printed the shirts using water-based ink and they came back super faded and just not looking good. I actually uploaded some photos on our Discord. If you want to take a look, you can hop back in the podcast discussion thread on the Helloplaydatepodcast Discord. But in the meantime, for those who are listening and not on the Discord, I wanted to let you know in person that we had to pivot mid-run to a plastisol-based ink. So that's like more of a traditional screen-printed ink. So all that to say, I think the shirts look great, actually. The colors are fantastic, just like I promised, but it's a plastisol ink, not water-based ink. That's the only change. You'll still get your color that you pre-ordered. You still get your size you pre-ordered. It still looks just like I told you it would, except for the fact that it's not water-based ink. So my apologies there. I had a last-minute notification from my printer, and he was already on the way to plastisol ink. So I think that nobody's going to care about this but me, but I just wanted to be super transparent about it. So in all transparency, thank you for your support of this show and your willingness to put our names on your body and wear them around in public or in private, however you choose. But thank you for supporting our show. We super appreciate it.